than the Archer.
The draw weight of this bow is 100 pounds.
That hurts so much.
Which hurts if it snaps against your fingers.
Better.
I'm getting a little suspicious of how Gamba does it.
I'm gonna shoot with this bow, okay? I'm gonna work with this bow. Let me get the arrows. I'll be right back. Okay. Make me start on the 100-pound powerful bow, and he's shooting much lighter bow. I think these Mongolians are having a good laugh at my expense. Falling off horses, using 100-pound bows. I'll try this with Gamba's bow. It's okay, yeah? Ah, yes. Very nice. Okay. Here we go. Oh, but this is like a world of difference here. Much nicer.
Mongolian warriors were able to fire up to 350 yards. 100 yards farther than the longbow or crossbow of most of their enemies.
So they had to get all this, plus keep their horses under control.
I know from past experience that putting the two together is a real challenge. It's time to see if I have what it takes to be a Mongol warrior. It's not easy. But in skilled hands, it was a deadly combination. The warriors could stand in their stirrups at full gallop and shoot in any direction. The two pieces, horse and bow, are a perfect fit, but don't fully account for the Mongols' success. Asian cultures had been shooting recurve bows from horseback for at least 1,000 years. What they lacked was the military genius of Genghis Khan. He took the twin strengths of the nomads, great archery and great horsemanship, and added a new element: organization. Genghis Khan invented a new and efficient hierarchy for his army. Warriors were grouped in units of 10, then 100, then 1,000, then 10,000. The entire army was on horseback, unique in the ancient world. And each rider had at least 2 or 3 horses. This gave them unprecedented mobility on and off the battlefield. They could move 70 miles a day. Other armies struggled to move 10. Genghis Khan knew how to use the advantages of the horse.
Their neighbors may have called them primitive barbarians, but on the battlefield, Genghis Khan and his Mongol horde were centuries ahead of their time.
And the proof was written in the blood of their neighbors. The first to fall was the Chinese Empire of the Qin to the south. In seasonal campaigns beginning in 1206 AD, the Mongols conquered over 800,000 square miles. They raided the countryside and demanded surrender of the cities. Then in 1221, the assault against the Persian Empire began, which some say may have killed 6 million people. A favorite Mongol tactic was the feigned retreat, drawing the defenders to chase them, sometimes for days, then turning on them. They never lost a battle. If a city resisted his army, he would utterly destroy it and all who lived there. They earned the reputation barbarian. His sons followed in his murderous footsteps, eventually extending the empire from the Pacific in the east to the Black Sea in the west, and putting more than 100 million people under Mongol control. It's hard to imagine looking at Mongolia today.
So if this was the largest land empire in the world, you have to wonder, Where is it? What's left of it? To find out, I've left Ulaanbaatar and I'm heading to Mongolia's first capital, the city of Karakorum.
I'm here in Mongolia to learn how the 13th century Mongol hordes created a land empire that was the largest the world has ever known. I've discovered that part of the secret behind the Mongols' military success was their brilliant horsemanship, combined with the power of the recurve bow and the organizational genius of their leader, Genghis Khan. Now I'm heading toward Karakorum, the capital of the empire, to see how the so-called barbarians governed 100 million people. Today, the city is an archaeological site 230 miles southwest of Ulaanbaatar. Many people say the Mongols never intended to create an empire. They just wanted to live their nomadic lifestyle and raid and pillage the cities of sedentary people. But they were so successful in destroying their opponents that eventually they were forced to build a city of their own. I meet up again with Dr. Chris Atwood by the walls of a 16th century monastery that was built where Karakorum once stood.
But, you know, it was built with stones from the ancient site of Karakorum.
So the real site,
It's over there.
yeah?
Right over there.
Can we go look at it?
Yeah, sure. Let's take a look. Right here, these are the best preserved remains of the real old Karakorum of the 13th century.
So these are where some of the Capitol buildings were?
Yeah, these big pillars here, these were bases for buildings.
But there are still discoveries yet to be made about this capital.
Lots of discoveries. Look here. This is probably from one of the tiles on the roof of this palace or temple or whatever it was that was here.
During the Khans?
During the time of the Khans, you were
Really?
holding a piece of 13th century green glazed ceramic.
This too.
Yeah, that too.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, must have had an amazing roof.
I think I'll leave it here.
Yeah.
Pillar stumps and roof tiles are all that's left on the surface today. But in the 13th century, a Flemish missionary named William of Rubruck wrote about his travels to Central Asia on a failed attempt to convert the Mongols. He described Karakorum in detail.